better not have no plans tonight.
Movie time and it's feeling right.
You're looking for a love that lasts. You'll find it at Romancing the Podcast. Ooh, ooh, baby, you had me at hello. Ooh, I love you.
I know.
Ooh, ooh, baby, you're the wind beneath my wings. Ooh, I'll have what she's having.
How are my levels and how's the new cord? Everything sound good?
We probably still need to get you a new mic.
It's because I use it in sex.
No one needs to record that 2 minutes of audio.
Oh, I thought he meant like he inserted it during sex.
Yeah, no one needs to record that 2 minutes of audio.
I hold a boom mic above us when we. It's like a selfie stick for audio.
It's like one of those. I literally have one right here. This is one of those.
I like how Mikey was like, hey, two people who've definitely seen and interacted with boom mics, here's what a boom mic does.
I have a boom mic behind me in the background. He's like, it's a selfie stick for audio. Yeah.
Is that what that is? I always thought it was like a Ghostbusters prop or something.
That'd be a boom mic.
I took the mic off of it because I wanted to plug it direct into the camera and walk around with it. So right now that boom mic is on the camera. But I have all kinds of fancy equipment. I do video for a living, which is why we do a video Oh, wait.
It's because we have to edit a lot.
Trust me, I have a body for podcasts.
I have a mouth for editing. How about that? Thank you for tuning into Romancing the Pod. You had us at hello. I'm Paige Wesley.
I'm Mikey Randolph.
And I'm Todd Schlosser. And this week, it's Paige's birthday. Happy birthday, Paige!
Yay! Happy birthday!
Yay!
Today, we are recording on Paige's birthday.
Which I think
Hooray.
we did last year.
Yeah, we did it last year.
50 Shades Darker. And now we did 50
Shades Free. Yes, I'd like to thank you guys and the pod for making me talk about this film loudly into a microphone in my parents' home.
Hey, we didn't make you go home for your birthday. That's on you.
Well, I mean, this does seem like the most vanilla and boring of the movies.
Mikey, I will disagree because this is a 3 dick neck film.
Yeah.
3 dick necks.
That's out of 5 dick necks, though, so it could have done better on the dick neck scale. But 3 dick necks is respectable.
But I will point out, the first one only had 1 dick neck. This has 3.
Yeah. Wait, the second one didn't have 2, did it?
No, I don't think the second one had any dick neck, and I think we commented on it in the episode.
Well, okay, it's your birthday. Tell us your thoughts.
So it's a new year, a new time to be alive.
It's a new me. I'm 24 years old, and everything's great. Up until last night, this was the only one I hadn't seen all the way through.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see this one in theaters, but I had read the book. And so, like, I had that context where I, like, knew the story.
Sure.
What I will say about this one, I feel like this, of the 50 Shades, is the most like the 365s.
Oh, yes.
There's, like, a whole lot of cars driving and shopping montages and walking into hotels.
Oh my God, no joke. There are 3 legit just commercials.
Like car commercials.
In this movie.
Yes.
It's probably 25 minutes of bonkers ass plot between sex scenes.
Yes.
And commercials for clothes or watches or cars.
But at the same time, I got to like 40 minutes into this movie and I was remembering the plot and like what still had to happen. And I was like, I feel like I've watched 2 movies in this 40 minutes because the plot, the 25 minutes they spend on plot is so much plot.
I know. Like, it's rapid fire.
It's rapid fire. But this is also the shortest 50 Shades movie by like 20 minutes.
Damn. That's crazy because it's long as fuck.
Crazy. It feels long, but it's not. This is the shortest one by like 20 minutes because I looked it up.
But literally so much happens. Like towards the end of the movie when he says, they found my biological mother's grave. I was like,
yeah.
Who was looking for that? No one told us that you were looking for that. Now we're just at some random grave. Like what is happening?
So here's the crazy thing. So I read the books, right? So like,
We've heard, Paige.
Yeah, Paige, we get it.
You've said that phrase 30 times in the last 2 minutes.
thank you. I read what? Yes, scholar.
You know what? As a dyslexic person, it hurts to have someone that can read flaunt it in my face.
Deal with it. I'm a 22-year-old reading ass bitch.
I like how every time she mentions how old she is, she's getting younger.
She's like, I'm 7 years old and this is my favorite book.
So I kept trying to think because it's been a year since we watched the last one, right?
Yes.
Thank
I
God.
had no idea. Like, I'm glad you guys knew what happened.
If I was referencing things in the movie that had actually happened in the last one, or if they had only happened in the book and they made this movie just being like, they read it. Like, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's fine. And I honestly do think there were 1 or 2 plot points and I'm like, they didn't address this at all. I don't remember this in the last movie. I know it happened in the book, but wow, like I don't.
Yeah.
What? So
Well, and it feels like that to someone who hasn't read the book, too. I was like, oh, what the fuck is
Yeah.
happening now all of a sudden for there was no setup for this. Okay, cool.
Well, there's a huge plot point that they cut out of the first 2 movies. And I know they did because it was something that I found really upsetting and disturbing in the books and something that people really find controlling and disturbing in the books that is not included in the first 2 movies, but it is a major plot point in this movie.
What is it? You guys are going to have to just assume that I have no clue what happened in this film, the last film.
The last film or the one before.
Oh, Mikey, I remembered 0 about 2 and 1.
Yeah, I just assumed it was continue. I was like, oh, I guess that happened maybe.
Like when Christian Grey's sister gets kidnapped, I was like, so why do they care so much about that lady who was taken? And
Rita
Natalie
Ora
was
has
like,
only been in 12 minutes of this series.
and Natalie was like, that's Christian's sister. I was like, oh, is it? Cool. All right, that makes sense then. Okay, cool.
100% thought it was her friend. 100 until just now. I assumed all the other women were just one woman. I don't know.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Well, yeah, we could address this. So in the first movie, she had dark hair. Rita Ora did.
Okay.
So in the book, she has dark hair. In the first movie, she has dark hair. In the second movie, she has dyed it blonde, and they make like a brief comment about it being blonde.
Oh, yeah.
And then in this movie, it's fully blonde, but it's also the same shade and length as her 40-year-old roommate best friend.
Yeah, Katie or whatever her name was.
Yes, in wide shots, they are indistinguishable.
Yes. Thank you. Especially if it's like in soft focus. Like if they're behind the main character and it's focused on the main character and you're like, I have no idea who else is in this scene with them.
All blonde women look alike. But also, between the 3 movies, her character gets maybe 10 minutes of screen time across 3 movies, and until this one where we're supposed to like, oh my God, she's been kidnapped. And in the book, she's like Anna's best friend. So like, or like other best friends. So it's like she's got her roommate.
She got 2 best friends.
Yeah.
2 best friends. She's super good friends with Christian's sister. And it's because this is fan fiction about Twilight, right?
Yes.
And in Twilight, Bella becomes extremely good friends with Edward's sister. And that's like a whole huge bond thing. So I think this movie's doing a lot of like, they read the book, just yada, 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 yada.
Well, I'm used to this from a more traditional male perspective.
Sure.
Because every character in Star Wars has a very elaborate backstory.
Yes.
Who walks in the background.
Correct.
And so like that's Porkins, and I know where he's from and what happened to his family, and he was only on screen for like a minute and a half, so I get it.
And what his call sign is.
Right.
Yeah. I personally am more of a Wedge Antilles person.
Hell
but
yeah.
like,
Oh, Wedge Antilles, he's like,
he's a fucking hero, man.
I played a video game where he was the main character, like Rogue Squadron.
It
you
was
know?
great.
Anyway, so there's stuff like that throughout. So holler at me if you're like, this made no sense, and I'll tell you if it was actually in the last movies.
Yeah, okay. Then I have my first question. Why
Sure.
did she marry Gray? But he is a total controlling douchebag. I don't understand why she loves him.
Mikey, he's a rich dude. Like, what is hard to understand?
Also, he sings that song about seagulls on tires and also stopped that beach from getting attacked by mosquitoes. So, like, I don't know why you're upset.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen him on that pommel horse, and he's like Elon Musk levels of rich. I know why she's with him.
Well, and trust me, I'd say he's is maybe the least controlling in this movie to a degree.
Oh, I think so.
A very small degree. But at the same time, she was fine with it when it was way worse because these movies are terrible. They're toxic and problematic. We know this.
I'm pregnant. How dare you?
Okay, so that we need to talk about. That's the huge plot point that they didn't include in the other movies. Okay, so as part of her contract to be his sub, he arranges a doctor for her to prescribe and administer birth control.
Oh, okay.
But he is kind of controlling her contraception in a way that seems kind of uncomfortable, but she does agree to it, but it's still weird, right?
Yeah.
So she's on the depot shot, which is effective when administered like regularly. It's not crazy common. I mean, for some people it works great. For other people, the hormones in it bug them, whatever.
Consult your local physician.
But so we haven't seen that in the last two movies. But in the books, she has to go like every 3 months for an appointment and get injections, or she starts doing it in Christian, like the doctor comes to Christian's apartment and does it or whatever. And so in this one, she got busy and forgot. And that's how she gets pregnant. So that's why he's like so angry.
They sort of do touch on that in the movie because I remember him talking about you missed one of your shots.
Yeah, well, but they don't do it until she like sees that doctor and whatever.
Oh yeah, it is out of nowhere. That's one of the things I was like,
it's
who's
out
on
of
shots?
nowhere. Yeah.
What are we talking about?
I don't need to know the backstory of what contraception method they chose.
The book goes into it a lot. Like,
because he could have been like, "You're not taking your pills," and I would have had the same reaction. I've been like, "Yeah, she's off birth control. She is pregnant, my friend."
Mikey, you would have not had the same reaction. You would have been like, fuck yes, it worked. Someone gets some meth. We got to plant some on her so she gets taken away.
I'd be like, "We got to go to the South so you can't take care of this."
Oh, boo.
Oh, that's a terrible joke.
I know. I have two things that I loved about this movie. One, the villain, as he gets more evil, turns more into a zombie as he goes.
Yeah, definitely. He looks very zombie-like because he was kind of good looking in the last movie, and in this one it's like, oh no.
Yeah, and we can't have a complex villain like a good looking villain who still kidnaps people. Like the kidnapping doesn't make him bad. We also need him to look like he's turning undead.
Yeah,
I get it. And two, this movie finally fulfilled my fantasy of having someone who loves me wash my hair.
Oh yeah.
You've never had someone do that, Mikey?
No, I've never had that.
Oh.
And they had like a really nice setup for that where they had a wand and all.
Yeah, it's a thing.
I'd be like, "Don't touch me. Go back to washing that." I could do that for probably like 45 minutes.
I've had that. It's pretty great, Mikey. You would definitely love it.
Yeah, I feel like most people would enjoy that.
Yeah.
Maybe. Well, I guess it depends on your relationship with your hair. But I mean, I would say ask your partner before you do it, just in case they're like, "No, you're ruining my perm," or whatever.
A huge perm. Who am I with in this scenario? Miss Frizzle?
I don't tell you who to love.
I mean, you've talked about fucking my mom multiple times. She had a perm at one point, so.
Yeah, why are you ruining Todd's mom's perm before you get all up ins?
Okay, this is about washing my hair.
Well, why are we ruining your perm?
I don't have a perm.
I enjoy that a lot too. I like that scene. I think that's fun because it's also, I feel like a lot of the sex scenes in this movie in particular are not incredibly intimate. They are kind of perfunctory.
Yeah. They're not hot.
Some of them are hot, but not. I think some of the ones in the previous movies do it a little bit better. But that scene in particular, it is very intimate, and you do feel like they actually love each other and enjoy spending time with each other. But
it's my favorite scene in the trilogy. It was the only fantasy I had pay out on this thing.
You know what, Mikey? Thank you for sharing that with us. How did that make you feel?
Good. It made me feel good.
Paige is now sending you a bill for $120.
I know how it works.
On my 21st birthday, no less. There's actually a joke in this movie. That's kind of fun.
I must have missed that.
I'll bring it up when we get to
I'm
it.
sure. I don't care for this for the same reasons I don't care for the other movies, but this one did have a 365 quality that I was super into because
Yes.
it really takes you for a journey in the 25 minutes in plot we get it over the course of 2 hours. Like, you go places. It's crazy. And I was sort of here for that ride. I probably wouldn't watch it again because the sex scenes, I agree with Mikey, weren't super sexy. It was fine. Some of it was fine. Some of it was like, oh, this is sort of boring to watch.
Yeah, well, I started looking at my phone during the sex scene.
Same. I was like, I'm so bored of these two people fucking. Like, at this point,
Like,
it's
ugh.
not sexy.
Dick neck number 3, check.
Check.
I think I grew to dislike Anastasia during this movie.
So this was something I hated in the book because I feel like there are credible threats of danger. And she's like, why are you controlling me? And I'm like, there's a guy trying to kill you.
She's like, we lost the car. We should have sex. I'd be like, no, not yet. I think we're still in danger.
Yeah.
So...
Stay inside. Like, stop.
It did drive me crazy though too, Mikey. I was like, this is not the time for this. Like,
when she's driving the car, she's like, I'll lose them. It's fun. I was like, you've lost all connection to reality.
Well, I thought that scene was really interesting because in the movie they did it in like an outdoor parking lot, and in the book, if I remember correctly, it's the garage under their apartment building where that happens, and so it locks behind them. So like they successfully get into a secure garage.
yeah, then they are safe in the book.
Which makes so much more sense.
Because at this, it looks like they pulled into a Denny's parking lot and are
Yes!
parking in front of it while that guy is on the hunt like 30 seconds behind them.
And then the camera pans up to me just eating my scrambled eggs. Just be like, fucking rich people, man.
Look, when I ordered this Rudy Tooty fresh and fruity, I didn't anticipate this.
I think it's her like inflection on her voice too. Like the way she played it, it almost seemed childish in a way that made me more uncomfortable than the other films because she's like, it was like a 15-year-old going through the movie. And I was like, what is happening?
Only in the sex scenes though, because like,
No, like all through it. She's like, we are in danger. You can't control me. I will show you what's up by saying no.
like the character in the Key and Peele sketches that always gets her boyfriend into fights, who's just like, stop. He called me a bitch. No, what I think is really interesting is that this is the first movie where she really kind of does fight and talk back to him.
Yeah.
In a way that I feel like is still not healthy, but like getting closer to that, where she's just like, you have to talk to me. We have to communicate. And I'm like, this is actually not bad.
It's on the road to healthy from where they started, right? Like,
yes,
they've
absolutely.
made some growth as a couple, and I'm proud of them for that.
Oh my God. This sums up everything I need to know about your relationships. These are baby steps over a trilogy.
I know.
But remember where we started?
Yeah.
Do you remember where we started, Mikey?
Guys, you cannot move the goalposts like that. You can't be like, this was super abusive to like, now it's only a little abusive. Think about how far we've come.
All I said was they were in the right direction.
Yes. They're going to drive that Audi in that Audi commercial closer to where we need them to be a healthy couple.
I do think Audi like financed this film. Like, there's no way they got away with that level of commercialization.
It's an Audi in the book.
I wish there was a knockoff car brand for Audi and it was just called Any.
That doesn't make me think of sleek, sexy motorsports.
No, it would be the opposite of Audi. So it would be like,
Well, first off, hold on now. An Audi belly button is not sleek, okay? An Any is. Really, Audi should be named Any.
No, any makes me think of how much lint is trapped there.
it's always some, Paige. That's what I've learned. It's never none.
I know.
Are you two taking the stance that Audi belly buttons are better than any belly buttons?
No, I'm taking the stance that I'd prefer not to think about belly buttons at all.
Is that like a thing for people? Like, wait, do you have an innie or an outie? Because
Do you not clean out your belly button?
I do.
I'm talking about Todd. He doesn't think about it at all.
no, I just don't fetishize it. So it's not like I care what Natalie has. I'm not like into belly buttons or anything.
It's not like that. It's not like you're into belly buttons.
It seems like you're into belly buttons, Mikey. Like that's what it seems
Technically,
like.
you can only really be into belly buttons if it is an any belly
yeah,
button.
yeah.
Then you're out to belly buttons if it's the opposite.
If you have an innie, you can only date an outie because you guys have to fit together like Legos when you have sex.
Love it.
I don't want to know what that feels like.
How is that the weirdest description of sex in this episode?
It's going to be hard to top. I've set the bar high for y'all, and I just want you to know that.
Thank you.
I'm very concerned that Mikey only dates women with certain types of belly buttons, and that's weird to me.
I don't like outie belly buttons. I mean, like, it's not a deal breaker.
Yeah, maybe we just jump into the movie so we can talk about it scene by scene. Yeah.
We open on Anastasia and Christian's very, very bland wedding.
Yeah.
I did think it was a little small for one of the richest dudes in the world.
It looked like it took place at a P.F. Chang.
Okay, but Mikey, you're not wrong.
No, it absolutely does look like that.
It does look like they just cleared out like an Olive Garden and hung some like flowers from the ceiling. It looks like a conference room at a hotel.
Did they cut that out? Like they really love P.F. Chang's?
Is that in the book page? That like P.F. Chang's is their jam?
No, they have this other restaurant and thoughts about wines or whatever. Anyway, so they have a wedding in this P.F. Chang's, and then they like immediately leave their wedding.
No, they dance for a second, and they have the ladies and gentlemen, Mr. and Mrs. Christian Grey.
He's like, we should get out of here.
Yeah. What does he say? I'm tired of sharing you with the riffraff. And I was like, why'd you invite riffraff to your wedding?
Is Richard O'Brien here? Hang on.
Yeah.
Why did you have a wedding at a public P.F. Chang's?
They don't let just anyone into a P.F. Chang's.
Yeah, you have to wait 20 minutes.
Yes, and you can walk around the mall while you're waiting. I mean, like, they'll give you one of those buzzers.
Fuck, I love P.F. Chang's.
Mikey, we should go to P.F. Chang's. I'm not even joking. I want to get on one of those horses out front.
I have a gift card right now in my wallet. I have a $50 P.F. Chang's gift card.
Mikey, you could have a whole wedding. They gave you gift cards to Pretty Fucking Chang's.
Pretty Fucking Chang's. Is that what it stands for?
No.
That would be amazing, though.
I think it's the initials of one of the founders, who is not Asian, I don't believe. So
Well, there you go.
let's find out. What does the PF and PF Chang stand for?
Yes! This is what I want from a podcast. If I listen to
Paul Fleming.
Wow.
it.
Really?
Well, that is a real letdown.
So Paul Fleming and Philip Chang. So the other developer, his last name is Chang, but that's the PF and the Chang. But honestly, that's boring. So I'm going to say that it stands for Pretty Fucking Chang's.
I love it.
Pretty Fucking Chang's.
All day. Pretty Fucking Chang's.
Yes. Dude, imagine if you went to a wedding and their appetizer was lettuce wraps.
I would be here
Oh.
for it. Yeah.
I'd be so excited.
I wouldn't. I'd be like, great. Gotta take this to the dry cleaners because I'm definitely spilling on myself.
Ooh, this butter lettuce. You spared no expense.
Ooh, yeah, I mean, honestly, I would take it. Paul Fleming, make it happen, baby.
Yeah.
That's Pretty Fucking Chang's of you, Paul.
That's what you say whenever somebody gives you a PF Chang gift card. They're like, Pretty Fucking Chang's of you, bro. So they leave the wedding in their private jet. And she's like, you own this? And he's like, we own this. I'm like, bitch, you have been on his private jets before.
I know. I was like, this is A, not your first time. B, you know how weddings work. And C, did he really not make her sign a prenup? ?
It's like a plot point that she doesn't sign a prenup.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a whole thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah, good for her, man.
Yeah. But also, I don't even think this is his only private jet.
No. He's got a private glider and a helicopter. He's got a whole airfield.
He's got a whole Air Force.
fleet of vehicles.
He's Pretty Fucking Chang's rich. Like,
Yeah.
he's so rich he could rent out the entire PF Chang.
The entire P.F. Chang's people.
They would have done the Cheesecake Factory, but they didn't want to seem bougie. So,
That's a little gauche.
Well, they're not Italian.
excuse you, Italians, we would rent out Buca di Beppo or Olive Garden, clearly. When you're here, you're loud and shaking your hands at your relatives. And you could sit in the Pope room. So they leave the wedding, they go to Paris. There's just a montage of cool things in Paris because this is like one of those Netflix movies where they're like, how many different locations around the world can we show to write off the production costs of this and to make it make money in the most places?
Yes.
Like a low-level Fast and Furious movie or The Gray Man.
The Gray Man was a $200 million movie. You know that, right?
And it should not have cost that much. Yeah. No, it is basically money laundering. But
Yeah.
Chris Evans as a villain, though, he
He's
truly
so
is
great.
the sexiest man alive. He's so good at it.
I still think the sexiest man alive should have been some random dude in like Sheboygan. Like that would have been so much better.
I still think that's hilarious.
Yeah.
This montage is when I zone out the first time in the film, and I don't come back until they're on a jet ski because I'm like, oh, I love a Sea-Doo.
Oh, then you missed boobies.
You did miss some boobies, Mikey. But it's okay. She's showing them half of this movie, so you definitely get to see them again.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So we cut to Nice, the beach in Nice, which is, by the way, a topless beach.
Yeah.
Which is a niche beach at Niche.
Yeah. Oh, wait, it's a nice niche beach in Nice.
Yeah.
Nailed it. Say that 4 times fast.
Pretty Fucking Changs of her to show everybody her tits.
Yeah, but Christian got really pissed about it.
Okay, I had some thoughts about this.
It's a thing in the book. It's a plot point.
I get what he's saying about the paparazzi, but then also I get more what he's saying where he's like, look, our security guy just watches us and I really feel uncomfortable about you showing your boobs to him. And I was like, oh, that makes more sense. Taylor is watching.
Taylor's definitely seen them naked before. 100%.
Taylor's watched them fuck, I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Because it's his quote unquote job or whatever.
Yes. The thing that like it's painted as him controlling her ability to or choice to show off her body, which I understand, and he is very controlling about this.
Yes.
He has a problematic need to control her in that way. Not great. But as someone who is not nearly as famous as a famous giant millionaire, I would never, for fear that someone would get a picture of it and it would resurface later. So like,
same.
He's not wrong. Like he's being a dick about it, but
Exactly.
he's not wrong.
That's what I was going to say. Like, he is, I think, giving her information that she needs to make a logical choice about what she's doing. Like, if she's okay with people, like, paparazzi taking a photo of her and, like, publishing that, cool. Stay topless.
Cool.
I don't care.
Have
You're
fun,
gorgeous.
yeah.
Do whatever you want to do. Like, that should have been more of the way he approached it. Just like, hey, I just want to warn you that there could be paparazzi out here that could take a photo of you that may go everywhere. But if you're comfortable with that, I'm comfortable with this.
He's not comfortable with it.
I
though.
know.
Like
He's
that's
an asshole
why.
about
Like,
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it is definitely a control thing. But despite there being a control thing, there are real reasons why she should not do it. But that's the same thing as the security detail stuff later of like, he is being very controlling, but there are also real life implications and real reasons why she should do what he says in that moment.
Yeah.
But anyway, she turns over. She ends up topless on the beach. They go back to the boat.
But it's, almost like they should have talked about this maybe on the Sea-Doo on the way to the beach.
There's a lot of things they should have talked about before they got married, I think.
Oh, you mean like, should we have kids one day?
Yes, I couldn't believe it.
When they ask later in this movie, should we have kids? Or like, do you want to have kids, Christian? And he like doesn't immediately be like, yeah, we talked about this. Of course I do. Or whatever. Like, he was just like, no.
He was like, you didn't take your shot. She was like, yeah, I took my shot of your little wigglies and now I'm pregnant. I was like, wow, that's a weird way to have this conversation.
It's two different scenes because she asks him before she finds out.
Yes.
And then when she finds out, they talk about it. But the reason that first scene is there is because that conversation should have happened in movie 1 and it didn't happen because it's been an ongoing conversation in the books the whole time.
Oh, has it?
Yes, that
Okay.
she knows that he doesn't necessarily want children.
Okay.
And in the books, it's painted as he doesn't want them at all because he had such a traumatic childhood.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I mean, I get it. People can make their own decision on that.
Yeah.
But I was shocked that they didn't have that conversation before they were married.
Yeah, no, well, and in the books they do. They have it a lot,
Yeah.
but in the movie they clearly didn't include it, and they were like, "Oh, yikes, that's a big plot point in this one. We gotta like, I don't know, just write a scene where she asks him as if that's something they've never spoken about before."
But you know what? You still have a 1% chance of getting pregnant on both birth controls. So, I mean, there's still a chance.
Always, yeah.
Somebody won that lottery ticket and got a $2 billion.
They actually ended up with like $939 million, which is still amazing, but taxes are a bitch on that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'd take $938 million.
Yeah, I'd find a way to make it work. Yeah.
I'd buy Twitter.
Well, you couldn't, so.
You will be soon.
Yeah, you'll buy it out of bankruptcy for sure. Yeah.
Where's your private jet now? Ha! Probably still at the airfield.
Yeah.
So anyway, so they get back on the yacht and he handcuffs her and they have like handcuff sex to try and kind of like air quotes punish her. And this is also from the book, but in the book, and they didn't include this in the movie, she during that process bruises her wrists and ankles from the handcuffs.
On the cuffs, yeah, that happens.
On the cuffs, which can happen. And she's like, I'm fine. Like, I had a good time. We cool. Consent was there. I didn't safe word because I didn't need to, like,
Yeah.
we're fine. But afterward, he's very upset by the fact that he bruised her. He's very upset that he hurt her.
Have you guys ever bruised someone during intimate time and then
Yes.
felt upset about it?
No, but I have been bruised because I bruise very easily. So like even something that did not actually hurt me in the moment could show up.
A lot of fair-skinned people bruise very easily. So yes, I absolutely have.
Yeah.
And no, it didn't bother me because it didn't bother them. If they were upset about it, I would have been upset about it. But
Yeah.
no, they were fine with it and I was fine with it.
You don't even have to try to give me a hickey and one will show up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that can look like a bruise. Yeah.
Oh, it can look bad. And I remember going back when I still worked in retail, going into work one day and I had not noticed that I had some pretty conspicuous markings. And my boss was like, what the fuck happened to you? Like, what did you
burned myself with a
do?
curling iron or whatever. I don't know.
No, well, it was a combination of a few things in a few areas. And he pulled me aside and was like, is he hitting you? Like, is he? And I was like, what? No. I was like,
No, he's just hitting it.
and I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh no, and had to like cover stuff with makeup and whatever, or like ice to make it go down. But
I mean, I definitely understand why he asked though, because it's weird to have a hickey around your eye.
it was not around my, no, it was, we don't need to go into more detail, but it was.
No. Yeah. I mean, the simple rule is no hickeys that can't be covered by like regular clothing, right?
Sure. Well, and I didn't think about it, but I was wearing like a V-neck and he was like, what has been transpiring in your home?
A car accident. I was in a car accident.
The way that they were laid out, it looked like I had been violently choked, and that was not the case.
Well, it might have been the case, but
whatever. It looked like something much more nefarious had happened.
Yeah,
but
much more nefarious and less sexy.
Yeah.
Although there is a line between nefarious and sexy that if you can find the nexus of, can be very enjoyable. Mikey is so embarrassed. Like,
no, I think the line that intersects nefarious and sexy is like wearing a holiday sweater without a bottoms on.
Good Lord, Mikey, your Hallmark version of BDSM is so adorable.
I mean, I feel like as long as all parties were consenting and truly consenting.
Yeah, that to your Daffy Duck moment, then it's fine.
Yeah. Anyway, so in the book, he's very upset that he bruised her, but they kind of just cut that out.
Yeah, they cut that out because you can't have emotions in the film.
You can't have emotions in this movie. And instead, they're like, sorry to interrupt your handcuff sex, but this guy started a fire in the server room. And they're like, enhance, like it's an episode of Law and Order.
I
They
did
just,
sort of love
zoom
that.
in on his face.
But the handcuff scene is like in between it, like is cut in sections of this guy breaking into the server room and planting a fucking bomb. I was like, what is this movie? Like, what is happening?
It's a metaphor for his sperm impregnating her.
Oh my God. He broke into her server room and planted some seed.
Listen, Massimo is a very powerful businessman, and so people are going to target. Oh, wait, we're not watching that movie.
No,
Christian?
It's an allegory, if you will, just like the Old Testament.
Yeah, the Old Testament is the one that's definitely known for the allegory and parables. That's the one.
Mm-hmm.
You're my favorite thing about evangelicals.
You mean the people who don't read the Bible?
Yep.
I'm making jokes.
I know,
Hey,
Mikey,
I've
I
read
know.
a lot of it because I decided to somehow make a fun comedy career out of needing to know about religion.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what's different about me and other evangelicals? I can take a joke about my religion.
I wouldn't classify you as an evangelical, Mikey. I just said that for the joke.
I've made plenty of girls shout, "Oh Lord."
No.
Well, if that's all it
No.
takes, I am an evangelical. I had a girl call me her Jesus Christ once.
I
Mikey.
hate that. I still hate that.
I don't like that story.
I didn't like it in the moment. I mean, I didn't stop it, but I didn't like it.
What historical figure would you prefer to be called instead of Jesus?
I'm trying to think. What historical figure?
Oh, Eleanor Roosevelt. No, probably not.
FDR, maybe?
FDR?
Yeah, because then I drive away on the highway system I just implemented.
Oh, I'm going to blow my social safety net all over your face.
New Deals.
No, I want to go like different history. It'd probably be like definitely King Arthur.
Yeah, fuck me like Morgana.
Paige doesn't like it.
No, I'm concerned that you think King Arthur was a real person.
Well, there's some debate about it, but I mean,
Let's talk again about parables, Mikey.
Hey, I'm not saying there wasn't a king around that time that people have probably based some of the information about Arthur on.
here's how it would go. We're in intimate time.
Okay.
She calls me King Arthur, and I was like, and you're the lady of the lake because you're all wet.
And then you pull your sword out from the lake.
Yeah. Allegory that.
Pretty fucking changsy, you bro. Okay, so they find out that he stole some private files about Christian and that it's definitely the guy that tried to assault Anna at the end of the last movie.
Yeah. But they point that out when they enhance.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my God, that's Jack or Hyde or whatever they call him.
Yeah, Jack Hyde. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But then also he chooses this moment to be like, oh yeah, by the way, I got a report from the FAA and that time my helicopter crashed in the last movie definitely wasn't an accident.
Yeah, it was sabotage.
Sabotage!
I can't stand it. I know Jack planned it.
I know that song.
Good song.
It is a good song. It was one of my favorite Guitar Hero songs for a long time.
Hell yeah.
We cut back to their apartment where she meets her new security team, Sawyer and Prescott. Prescott, who we will only see in one other scene of this film. Sawyer, who we will see more often because he has nice shoulders.
Yes. Well, and he also, I assume, starts fucking her friend.
Which friend?
The one at the work friend.
Her work friend, yeah.
Oh, her
assistant.
administrative assistant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so.
Oh, was that not in the book? I assumed that was in the book and they were just hinting at it in the movie. Oh, okay.
Honestly, the love story between Christian's brother and her friend is like way more interesting to me, and it all takes place within 5 minutes on the background.
Yeah, dude, when they get engaged, I was like, holy shit, are they dating?
They've been dating for 3 movies.
Okay.
Do you know how they wrote that extra Twilight book in the perspective of Edward?
Yes.
I want that with this couple of them just talking shit about Anastasia and Christian Grey.
You want like a Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead version of this.
Yes.
Where it's like from their perspective. I would honestly love that. Like, what is their version of Later's Baby? Because
Yes,
like Later's
yes.
Baby is Christian and Anastasia making fun of those two, right?
No, they have the same version, but they do it sarcastically, like Later's baby.
Later's baby. They just randomly drop contracts for each other around the house. Just like, sign
love it.
this so we
Yeah.
can fuck.
Or like one whole scene is like them getting a copy of the contract and reading it, drinking coffee, and laughing hysterically.
Oh my God. Yes. That would be amazing. I want that.
And that's how they fall in love, is them making fun of their like two closest people getting together.
That is the rom-com we need to do.
I mean, kinda.
Yeah.
Like he gets in a helicopter, they're like, oh my God, he got in a helicopter, and then he gets out, and then he's like, my brother is so stupid.
Anyway, so Anna gets asked how she wants to run the household. She decides that she's going to cook for Christian. And what I did really appreciate is that she makes steak
Yeah.
for him later that night and pulls it out of the oven. And I was like, yes, bitch.
It's impressive. That's hard.
Well, it's somebody demonstrating how to actually do steak well in your own home is to just char on either side and finish in the oven so you can control the doneness a lot easier. And most movies are just like, grill it. I'm
Yeah.
like, that steak's gonna be dry as fuck.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't even notice that because, I don't know, I just don't focus on stuff like that in movies typically. But I did sort of think that she just told that lady that she was going to make dinner that night. I definitely think that lady's still commonly cooking for
yeah,
them,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway, she cooks him steak. Then she asks him like, so do you ever want babies? And he's like, no, never, but someday, but never.
He does have, I don't want you to leave me, so I'm going to like leave that door open for a possibility, but it's definitely a no. Those are his vibes.
Yeah.
That's such a manipulative way to answer a question like, do you want to have kids someday? That it's definitely not great.
In my mind, he was like, yeah, I definitely want to have kids someday with someone else.
With my fourth wife.
Yeah.
Duh.
When I'm 55 and she's 22, I'm rich. Don't you know what's going to happen here? Have you not seen Tom Hanks's parents from You've Got Mail?
From You've Got Mail. I do think this is definitely a conversation everyone should have before they decide to get the law involved in their relationship by
Right?
signing documents. And just in general, just know where people stand.
I don't believe in big government.
We know you believe in mediocre to average government. So
It's how you use the government that matters.
Yeah, if you use it to hurt other people, then Mikey's on board. If you use it to help other people, he's not so okay with that.
yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
literally part of the government that helps people.
I'm just pointing out the alt-right views that you quote unquote have.
Oh, well, I'm left-handed, so that's alt-right.
I guess Mikey is alt-right, but not in the way you guys assumed he was alt-right.
I think it's really funny that you are, but not in the way they think.
Yeah, I've always been alt-right. I've been left-handed since I was a child. And just like the term ISIS, because Archers, the show Archer, their
Yes.
organization's called ISIS.
Yeah. Also, Verizon Wireless had a payment system called ISIS back in the day.
Oh.
And they had to rebrand it. I was there at the time. Yeah.
Is that why they did it?
Yeah, they absolutely rebranded it. Yeah.
No, I mean, like, but that's why. Did they send like a company memo that's like, we can't be called ISIS?
Yes.
Yeah, because if you Google it, it's just beheading video.
Yeah.
We had a thing in our office where we abbreviate the names of teams a lot of the time. So it's like,
Right.
like CS or like MC or whatever. And then they created a team called support specialists.
Oh, no.
The SS.
I, along with a few others, had to be like, hey guys, we're going to have to change this abbreviation so that we're not like, because we'll just type it out in messages and be like, have you contacted SS about this? so then they became CSSS. But yeah, it was an interesting day or two where I was like, hey guys,
Let me explain to you a little bit more about Nazism than you previously knew.
I know World War II is a long time ago, but today we're going to talk about the Thule Society.
And somehow Theosophy. We're going to get there. Yeah.
Dropping in.
We got to contact the SS to come stop by later and help you with your problem, wink, wink.
Look, it's not a Paige ruining a party conversation unless Theosophy gets involved.
Exactly.
Yeah. How do you think I wrecked my 73rd birthday party?
Whose 73rd birthday party?
Mine, because my age changes every time I bring it up.
Oh.
I was like, what kind of Nazi fact is she about to throw down on me?
So we were celebrating in Argentina. No. Anyway, we cut to Anastasia's office where she's the new fiction editor, as you might remember from the last movie, where her boss was removed for attempting to violently sexually assault her, and then they just gave her the job because she spoke up in a meeting one time.
That's just the first symptom of the zombie virus that he has.
Oh no. What kind of zombie virus makes you like try to sexually assault people in the workplace?
Rabies?
I think that's rapies. Is what you're thinking, Mikey. Yeah. It's rapies?
Anyway, so her new secretary seems like she's kind of upset that Anna's got this new job. She's like, oh, because you married into this job. And it's like, no, the book just kind of yada-yada'd over her talking into a meeting and recommending this one book that people liked, and that's how she got this job. But Christian's going to argue that it was all this hard work, even though he owns the company now.
But we all know the truth, though, right? Like, I mean, she got that job because she's fucking Christian Grey. Like, we know what's up.
Absolutely, she
Yes,
did.
okay.
She did. And it's like, of course not. And I'm like,
Why didn't they just have her work at a different company that he doesn't own?
She did, and then he bought that company.
Oh, that's right, because he's a psychopath. I remember the other movies now.
Anyway, so we find out that the book that Anna recommended is doing really well. And then Christian just like shows up at her office and is just like, hey, you didn't change your email to have my last name on it. And she's just like, I'm my own woman, Christian. And he's just like, fine. And then leaves because that's how a lot of conversations in this movie go.
She does bring up some good points about how she needs an identity outside of the Grey identity or whatever. And that's like her work persona. And Christian even says, or I think she even asked Christian, like, would you change your last name?
Would you change your name for me?
And he says yes. And then if I was Anastasia, I'd be like, cool, let's change our name to Steele.
Do it. Steele is a cooler name anyway.
It is a cooler name, yeah.
Well, if you hyphenate it, it would be Gray Steel.
Or Steel
Ooh,
Gray.
Shit.
Ooh, Steel Gray would be great.
Yeah.
But literally, every conversation in this film should have been taken care of in pre-marriage counseling.
Yes.
Not only that, I don't know if you guys know, but when you go to change your name, you change your whole name. So you could pick whatever the fuck you want. You could be Spider-Man.
That just sets up an expectation for people that I would disappoint.
What, Spider-Man?
Excuse me. I don't think me, Peter Parker, PhD.
Well, as long as you don't go by Dr. Parker.
Dr. Parker, I need these photos of Spider-Man stat. So he leaves. And the author that she's meeting with about this book that did really well shows up. And then he comes back and is like, oh no, I'm sorry, I messed this up. The author's in her office and she's like, your book's doing really well. And then Christian shows up and is like, who's that hot guy? Why didn't you change your email? And she's just like, I am independent. And he's like, okay, fine. And she's like, I gotta go find that author now. You scared him the fuck off.
Wait, she didn't have to go find him. She opens the door and is like, hey, author, get back in here. And he's like, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the book she was like, hey, everyone should read this book. They'd love this
Yes.
book. That's like the book that she got the editor job for, quote unquote.
Yes.
And it's selling really well from what we learned throughout this movie.
It's selling really well. Or pre-sales. I think it's like pre-sales have already sold really well.
That's right.
Because
Yeah.
he had built-in readership or something like that.
Yeah. I think he's a podcaster or something. Yeah, it's this weird new thing back at that time.
Hey, if I wrote a romance novel book, I think a fair amount of people would read it just because.
I mean, I would have to produce the audiobook, but yeah. Have you read it, Paige?
I did that for the vampire one. It doesn't sound great because I just did it at home with my computer. But the bulk of my vampire one is an audiobook form on the Cult Podcast Patreon still.
Oh my God.
I'll write one too. It'll be my autobiography.
Hello, ladies. Sign up to be a part of Mikey's memoirs.
It's just a list.
It's the old David Letterman top 10.
Top 10 reasons I might have chlamydia. Jennifer.
She was not that bad.
Oh, have you actually had sex with someone named Jennifer?
I've had sex with most basic white girl names.
I'm laughing, but I can't throw stones. I know.
Yeah, Paige,
names.
tell me how was.
Yeah. How was Josh?
Yeah, Chris.
First of all, you need to fucking cut that first name out.
It's hilarious that the joke was it's about basic names, and the first name we said, Paige, was the right name? Are you serious?
It's not the right name. It's not.
What about Matt?
No, there's no Matts, no Chris's.
I've hooked up with a lot of people with the middle name Marie.
Well, yeah, that's because you date white girls.
Have y'all ever met somebody without a middle name?
Yes.
I don't know.
Well, middle names are not universal. Not every culture has them.
But it's also like something I don't ask everyone. Like some of my closest friends, I might know their middle name, but like that doesn't come up for me.
You don't run background checks on everybody in your life?
No, Mikey, I don't. I trust people, I guess.
I take a playbook from old Christian Grey, you know what I'm saying? I've tapped your cell phones. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you've gotten a lot of Taco Bell memes, I think. So we cut to, they drive out into the countryside to the house that they sailed past in the last movie that she said that she liked, that he is now purchased for her.
I did remember that you told us in the second episode that we did for this, that he then buys that house for her. And I thought we were going to see that house like fixed up and like beautiful. We only see it once right here, and it looks terrible. I mean, the bones are
and
great.
the very end after the credits, you see it a little bit.
Oh, I turned
When
it
they
off
have the
after the
babies.
credits. Oh, I didn't see
What?
any of that. Shit.
Oh,
You stopped
there's-
Lord of the Rings as soon as the ring went into the Mount Doom, huh?
No, at the credits I turned it off though. Well, I didn't think Nick Fury was going to come recruit Anastasia for the like. What are we talking about?
You missed
Like,
Samuel L. Jackson going to Christian Grey?
he's like, Christian Grey, we need a new Iron Man, and you're also a rich white dude, so you fit the bill.
Please take this gauntlet. Oh man, I would have lost my mind laughing. Oh my god, that would have been the funniest thing ever. Somebody recut this and put Samuel L. Jackson in it.
Please,
instantly
yes.
improved.
Completely think every movie should end with Samuel L. Jackson coming over and trying to get them to join.
I need to talk to you about the Avenger Initiative.
Yeah, at some point you could just throw in all these random movies together, and that would be great.
I mean, that like the idea that the rest of the Marvel universe exists, but then this movie also. None of the previous two, just this one is very funny to me. Now, here's what's interesting is the house that they saw in the last movie, completely different house. Like they just picked a new house, but they do show it in the epilogue as well.
Okay.
So they go inside, and this is where they meet Gia, the architect / contractor, who's trying to hit on Christian. And Christian walks out of the room.
Yeah, I mean, Christian's rich. I mean, I get it.
Yeah, but Christian walks out of the room, and Anastasia's just like, you touch my husband again, I'll cut your fucking lips off, you bitch.
I mean, that's more or less what she says. Like, exactly
Yeah.
that.
Well, I do love that Christian's like, I hired all these security people, and you're more scary than all of them. And I was just like, yeah, Anastasia, that's
But
what.
she's not, though.
No, she's not.
She pretty much acts like a child who's dressed up in adult clothes.
I mean,
She's 3 8-year-old girls in a trench coat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
well, in the book, she's only like 23, like me. Young queen.
That checks out.
So anyway, they speed away from the house and their security detail. Oh, because he lets Anna drive. And so Anna's speeding. They lose their security detail. They find out they're being followed. So then there's like an Audi commercial through the city as they get away from the guy chasing them.
But it's a Ronin length car chase scene, but not nearly as good as Ronin. But like, why is this 5.5 minutes in this movie?
Yo, it's no Baby Driver where they do the like flip and then backflip.
Yeah,
like,
if it was Baby Driver, it would have been way cooler than this.
And it would be scored to an obscure alternative rock band.
But it would be like perfectly in line with every beat. Yeah.
Yes.
Baby Driver's
Perfectly
so
timed.
good at that. It's so good. Even the gunshots are on beat.
Love it. Anyway, she makes it to a parking lot. They've, air quotes, lost him, and they immediately bone in that parking lot.
Yeah, she like climbs on top immediately. And Mikey's in there just trying to eat his Rudy Tooty Fresh and Fruity at Denny's.
Honestly, if they had just pulled the camera back and revealed Casey Affleck from that fake Dunkin' commercial from SNL.
Cut your nails for days.
Yeah, just like spiking a Dunkin' Donuts coffee at the windshield of the car.
I just wanted them to be like, move the McDonald's wrappers. I have to fuck you now.
Why is there a pizza box in here?
Is that a Chipotle bag of chips?
Yes. Anyway, we cut back to the apartment where he's talking to the security detail and he's like, well, where's Layla, who is the girl from the last movie that tried to kill Anastasia? Because I don't know if you remember, but the last 2 films have had multiple like crime plots.
Yeah, these aren't really romantic movies. They're crime dramas.
Yeah. I mean, it's more like 365 than you think.
It is.
So he wants her to come to New York with him while he has meetings. She's like, no, I am staying here because I have to work. And he's like, fine, but please just come straight back to the house. Which, by the way, they have been followed. They know that there's a guy who tried to sabotage his helicopter and planted a bomb in the server room.
And they know who it is.
And they know who it is.
Yeah.
And they know that he knows where she lives. So like and where she works. So the idea that he's like, please come straight home after work, like let the security detail handle this. Like they have to be with you at all times. I'm like, yeah, that's just logical.
When she doesn't go to New York with him, I was like, take some meetings on Zoom. Okay, girl?
Yeah, this is pre-pandemic, so like Zoom wasn't really a thing. Yeah.
But I mean, like, what are you going to get fired if you don't go to work that week?
No, she is married to the person who owns that company. She's never going to get fired, and she could never show up to work.
Well, and also she's an editor. And if you noticed on her desk, she has the pile of manuscripts.
Yeah.
So for like a couple days, if she was like, I'm taking this stack of manuscripts and I'm going to read them. And when I come back, we'll have meetings.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, this is where he agrees to let her stay. And this is where she washes his hair so she can give him like a haircut. And it's very, very sweet. This is the best scene in the movie. 100%.
It is very, very sweet, but I don't think I'd let Natalie cut my hair, and she like went to cosmetology school.
I cut Jake's hair during the pandemic once or twice.
No, they can wash it. They can't cut it. Unless that's like their trade.
Right.
I just need to know how much of the PPP loan that Christian Grey got forgiven. You know, that's all I'm saying.
That's what I want to know.
Release the list. Just, I'm curious. Anyway, so she goes to get the scissors out of the desk and finds a loaded gun, and he confesses that it's Layla's, the girl that tried to kill her previous movie, and he's like, I can get rid of it. He doesn't. She uses it later, which is great. The next day he leaves, and she goes to work where she finds out that book she ordered is doing amazing in pre-sales without even a marketing campaign. It was absolutely the right choice. It's kind of like solidifying her as the right choice for that job.
Yeah.
Without Christian. And Kate calls her to be like, let's go to drinks because we haven't had friends. And to this day, in the book, I didn't understand it. In the movie, I don't understand it. She lives in a fancy penthouse where she can order whatever she wants. Why they do not just go home to her apartment and have drinks, just the two of them, we'll never understand. Do not understand it.
No, it's dumb. It really is dumb. But
Yeah.
I think I think she texts and says, hey, let's get drinks. And then I think Anna texts back, let's just go to my apartment or whatever. And then Kate like texts back, let's just meet at this place. And she doesn't like push back on it at all. But I think if she had been like, Kate, listen, I am under danger. we have to have like bodyguards. Let's just meet at my place or I can't do it. Kate would have been like, oh shit. Okay. Yeah, cool. Let's just do it at your place.
But also, here's the thing. Kate is dating Christian's brother and has been for 2 movies. Christian's brother has security detail because of this. So she knows. Kate knows that it's happening.
Yeah, because at this point I was like, oh, Kate's just some lady that Anna knows, I guess. I didn't know who anybody was in this movie because it's been forever since I saw the last one.
I don't know the names. I don't know the faces.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Anyway, they go to a place called the Bunker Club, which seems to just be a restaurant.
Yes.
But whatever. So they have multiple martinis, and this is where Anna finds out from Kate that there were actually more files stolen than she thought, and Kate thinks that Elliot, Christian's brother, is sleeping with Gia Matteo, the architect that she had to peel off Christian. And she gives what I actually think is good advice, which is like a rarity in this film, where she's like, I think you just need to talk to him. Like, I don't think he's cheating on you, but you, like, if you're concerned, you need to bring it up and talk to him and not just, like, resent it internally or whatever.
Yeah.
So, anyway, she gets back to the apartment, and in the elevator, she notices that she has 6 missed calls from Christian. And she's telling Sawyer, her security detail, she's like, please don't tell him. And he's like, he already knows.
Yeah.
Like, I told him the second you didn't go home from work.
Yeah, because that's his job. Like, he works
That's
for
his
Christian.
job.
Yeah.
And there's a guy trying to murder Anna, like, on the loose.
Yeah.
Like,
But she does seem like she's like very put upon because she has to have a bodyguard. Like, he's there to save you, ma'am. Calm down.
oh, I would be in a bunker. Like, I am the level of paranoid that I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to New York with you, but also you're never leaving my side again, husband. Like, until that man is dead.
Yeah.
And just 2 bodyguards? Like, if you're billionaires, can't you hire assassins and stuff like that?
Yeah, Mikey, and I think this brings me to my next point, which was pretty sure Christian hired him to kill her because he didn't have her sign a prenup.
Because there was no
Yeah.
prenup.
And
So-
she's pregnant.
Yes. So there's many layers here. Christian actually is that bad.
He doesn't know that yet, though.
No, he got the footage of the bomb going off in her server room. It's an allegory.
That's how you get pregnant, Paige. I'm surprised you as a woman don't know
Was
that.
allegory your word of the day today?
Yeah, it was on his calendar of the day, word of the day thing. Yeah.
You've used allegory like 12 times.
I'm making it a bit.
Okay. She goes into the apartment and the lights aren't working conveniently enough for Jack to jump out from behind and hold a knife to her neck.
Right.
But her 2 security details subdue him. Basically, like, one guy pulls a gun on him, but then the other security detail gets the jump and gets him from behind.
Can I just say this? Just shoot him. He's in your house. He's trying to kill you.
Yeah.
You would get away with it. Just shoot him and be like, hey, he had a knife. You know, we had to shoot him.
Well, and this is the one joke in this movie. They're holding him down and they're like, do we have anything to restrain him? And Anna goes like, yeah, duh. I mean, I can go find something. And then I assume goes to the playroom.
I want her to 100% come back with like cuffs that you put under the bed so they're like way too long, you know, like, and then also a plug.
Are these leather? Like-
Just be like, here, use these things. And then he's like, what?
Yes.
Was the gimp mask necessary?
We can restrain him, but we're going to have to chain him to the bed until the police come. Anyway, so we cut to she's being interviewed by the police and they're asking her questions where she's like, he attacked me. There were stolen plates. He followed us home. Like, we have all this, footage or whatever.
Yeah.
The detective is just like, I understand you're tired. I'll ask you more questions tomorrow, which is like, what?
I mean, because they wouldn't do that.
No, you gotta have a statement today. Like,
Yeah.
they're not gonna let you like sleep on it, and then make up something tomorrow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they leave. Christian comes home and she wakes up and he's there drinking. And at this point in my notes, I'm like, I feel like 2 whole movies have happened and it's only
Yes.
40 minutes into this movie.
I know. But it's crazy. Like, from where we started at their wedding, guys.
That's the crazy thing about this movie. It drags because there's so many montages and so many just long shots of that Audi winding through the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
Not fast. It's not going that fast. And they're like, I'm going so fast. I'm like, you telling me is not you showing me.
Yeah. with that Ellie Goulding song. They're just like, love it like you do, driving through the woods. Just like, whatever.
Yeah, I was like, I should buy an Audi. And then I like Googled it and I was like, yeah, those are expensive. I guess I'm not going to do
Yeah,
that.
the one they're driving is like 6 figures.
Oh, easy. But then like every 15 minutes, 4 plot points happen in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So like every 15 minutes, a whole movie's worth of plot happens. And then we just watch cars drive for another 15 minutes.
It's wild.
Anyway, she asks him to come to bed. He refuses. He gets into the shower. She gets in with him. We get our first dick neck of the movie. Dick neck. Double dick neck. 50 Shades. Or actually, I'm sorry. This is the second dick neck of the movie. The first dick neck of the movie was on the boat.
That's right.
But he gets out of the shower and leaves. And so she gets to work. And one of her coworkers has like an article, like a news article that's already been written about their home invasion. She's like, should you be at work today? Which the answer is no. Like, if your home got home invasioned, you should stay home, I think.
Right?
Anyway, she comes home from work and Christian is home and he's in the fuck jeans.
He never washes them.
Oh.
They're so dirty.
They smell like old scallops.
Oh.
Like Terminator, Paige.
Well, in Terminator, it's hot.
Would you rather it smell like old scallops or old scabs?
Well, I don't know what old scabs smell like.
I don't either.
So probably
Then I guess
that.
I'll pick scabs.
Yeah.
Because I know that old scallops are going to taste like a trash bag full of ass.
Wait, do we have to eat them? Like, I'm not going to eat
You
them.
just have to smell them. You just have to smell them.
I'm sorry. If you think she's not going to blow him after wearing the fuck jeans, then you don't know Anna and how much of a giver she is.
Are you laying down right now? Like,
I'm reclining in an office chair. Anyway, so he's like, let's go to the playroom. And she's like, okay. And he blindfolds her. And this was a lot of a much bigger deal in the book. But essentially, he restrains her, all the normal stuff. She's super excited. And then he takes a vibrator and he like edges her.
yeah.
And in the book, it's like hours. Like it's borderline torture.
It's like 15 seconds in the movie, though. It's very quick. But it's very clear what he's doing. Like, they get that point across. Yeah.
They do. And she safe words out. And I do like that immediately she's like, that's not love. That's revenge. That's not okay in the playroom.
Right.
This is not an okay dynamic. That's not okay that you did that. But then she immediately is like, why didn't you tell me about the files? Forget what just happened. Tell me about the crime
I know,
story.
right? We go from this very conversation they need to have because she safe worded out, right?
Yeah.
And then they shift and then never shift back. So they just
And there's no aftercare or anything.
right, none of that.
Nothing.
I was like, this
Zero.
is crazy. Yeah.
You don't need that.
No, you
No,
absolutely
you do. It's a very important part of the process.
Yeah.
No, don't worry about it.
No. Yeah, you definitely need it. But so in the book, it's like a whole thing where they don't speak for a couple days because it's a violation. And I'm just like, yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah, it is. I got why she was pissed.
Yeah. In this movie, she's just like, that was bad. Don't ever do that again. But tell me about these files from the server room.
Yeah,
You're
but
just
don't worry about it. I'm not going to hold a grudge or be upset about what just happened.
Right.
Because you're rich.
Well, now she's rich. She must really love him, which is crazy to me.
That's a strong word.
I don't know, man. If she could leave at any time and get half of his net worth, I would, what is Jeff Bezos' ex-wife's name? I would do that immediately if I married Christian Grey.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking shangs of her that she's going to stick around.
And I think Bezos' wife stuck around for 19 years too.
Yeah, she did for a long time. So he tells her, he's like, I had a dream you were dead and he's locked up. I'm with you. But you scared the shit out of me because you wouldn't just stay in the damn house.
Which, again, I think he has reasons to be upset. I think he's taking it out on her in a very toxic way.
Yes.
But I do think he has every right to be upset about some of her actions.
I will say, much like the beach before, he has very problematic and toxic personal reasons for being upset.
Yes.
But there are real world reasons why she should be listening to him.
Yes.
I don't like him.
No, he's a terrible human being throughout the entire series, and he is our romantic lead.
Yeah. Plus, he planned to kill everyone in Vista Del Mar with those mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Just because he wanted a long-term girlfriend.
We've all been there.
But Mikey, you haven't gotten to that level to where you're willing to take those kinds of extremes.
Right.
And I think until you do, you will not find your love. We have to kill all of Vista Del Mar
Yeah.
with mosquitoes.
I always knew it would come to
Because
this.
sometimes the dong goes so deep it touches your heart.
But in Mikey's case, instead of it being so deep, it touches your heart, it quenches your thirst. Because of vitamin water. And he wants kids, and there's no way he's pulling out.
Ladies, I want to bomb your server room. Paige, it's an allegory.
Mikey, office terrorist at your cervix.
Mikey took a drink, but almost died right there, not laughing.
Anyway, so we cut to, he picks her up from the office the next day and they all go to Aspen because she won a weekend in Aspen at an auction. And I don't remember if they put that auction in the second movie or not.
I think they did. I remembered that, so they must have.
Okay.
I did not remember that. Okay.
He sold her car without telling her and then
Yeah.
gave her the money. And she didn't want the money for it. It was like this thing where she's
That's
like,
right.
don't
I
need
remember
it.
that.
Yeah, that definitely
How
happened.
dare you buy me a new car?
Right. And so she spitefully donates the money he gave her to charity to win a weekend in Aspen. And it's like his cabin. And he's like, but that's also your cabin. And she's like, whatever, charity. So they're finally going to Aspen. Anyway, everyone else is also there. Brothers, sisters, everything. But they have like their own wing of the house. So we cut to him playing and singing on the piano, and his brothers and sisters are like, he never sings. Like this, we've never seen this. The implication being like, he's so fucking happy. And I'm like, his face has not changed in 3 movies.
No.
Yeah. He's never said a nice thing to Anastasia.
He also doesn't look happy while he's playing piano either. Like he does not look happy while he's doing this.
Not nearly as happy as he looks when he's balls deep in Star.
Again, a better movie is his brother and her friend being at that cabin with him and being like, oh, he's playing music. He's never played music before. Way to go. This is the most emotion you've been able to express, fucking loser.
I mean, he does heckle him. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I want their perspective.
Yeah.
Later that night, they're laying in bed together, and then like he turns to Anastasia's friend and is like, you make me happy. Like if I never sang before, I would sing when I met you. And like that's their story, is just making fun of them continuously.
Or just him walking downstairs, sitting at the piano and just being like, get your boots and your bag for this wet ass pussy. Just like, anyway, we cut to a giant bathtub that I want to have in my house someday, where Anastasia and Christian are taking a bath together.
But it's definitely long enough to where you could like just both sit in it and your legs are barely touching. Like it's long.
Love it.
It's perfect for this. Yeah.
But she asks him, do you think your brother is sleeping with the architect instead of my friend? And he's like, I think he did in the past, but probably isn't now.
Yeah. I love his response is like, slept with, yes. Is he now? Probably not.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
he slept with half of Oregon or wherever the fuck they are.
Seattle.
Seattle. Okay. So Washington.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, we cut to, they go to bed for the night. She has a nightmare where she's in Versailles and Jack is like grabbing her from behind. So she like wakes up and snuggles close to Christian, but we cut to a little while later and she's clearly up and hasn't been able to sleep. And she's eating ice cream in the kitchen. And
I
she
hate this
starts
scene.
drizzling it on his chest and like licking it. This is
Hate
where we
this.
get our third dick neck of the movie.
Yep.
I hate this sex scene so much.
Don't like this at all. Hate this.
But why Rocky Road?
Mikey, it's an allegory for their relationship.
It's an allegory for their relationship. My thing is cold plus erection, not a good combo.
Okay, so let me just break in here and say you can have some fun with that sensation. That's fine. But
Okay.
if you're going to like use a spoon and it touches hair that is on your body, don't then use that spoon again. That's what bothered
Oh,
me.
yeah. Oh, that.
And I mean, like, it's fine if you use that spoon again on the body, but don't use it on the mouth. Like, don't then use it to eat ice cream because you're going to be eating pubes as well.
So my bigger problem was that he drizzles ice cream along her leg and then eats her out. And I'm like, she's going to get a yeast infection. Like, don't do this.
I mean, maybe.
Don't put ice cream in your bajingo. Like, I don't know why I need to like say this to people. Don't do that.
Food play is good, but ice cream is subjectively one of the stickiest foods on
Yes.
earth. Like, you would be like, That's when your skin stick together.
Food play has limits, though.
It's not for me.
There are certain things that you should not put inside you, food-wise. Just full stop.
Like ghost peppers. But like this is like if they like covered themselves in honey. Like it doesn't look fun at all.
It doesn't look fun at all. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like honey would be better than something that's like milky and I don't know. I'm not a food person when I'm having sex. Like I don't want to be a part of that.
No, I eat a lot of food when I'm definitely not having sex. It's like a stress eating. Like that's how I get my dopamine kind of thing.
Yeah. But if you're going to have sex, you're eating light that night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know the tricks.
The day after this movie came out in theaters, multiple gynecologists put out articles in various news outlets telling people not to eat ice cream out of vagina.
Yeah, if you're going to put cream in a vagina, it needs to be at 98.3 degrees or whatever the body temperature is.
But here's what really upsets me, though. I don't know if you're familiar with the website Quora.
No.
It's like new Yahoo Answers. But one of the top entries just says, yes, it's very normal to put ice cream in vaginas and lick it. It's not. Don't do it. You will get a yeast infection. Also, don't put lollipops up there.
What a waste of ice cream, first off. But what if like a sprinkle gets stuck over there? You know, like there's just so many bad things that happen. Like you got like 4 moose tracks just all up in you.
Now you're just queefing out moose tracks. Paige?
Yeah, Paige.
Paige is currently violently laughing into her hand.
What can a woman do if a woman gets a moose track stuck in her?
You got to go to a gynecologist to have them yank out your moose tracks.
Fun fact, I don't use the term camel toe. I use the term moose track.
That hurts my brain and my heart.
I'm just saying, Paige, there's a lot of moose tracks in a pint of moose tracks.
That's why they're called moose tracks.
That's why you buy moose tracks. You for the moose tracks.
Yeah.
Yes.
At least it wasn't rum raisin.
Just got raisins
Like at least it was
falling out.
something tasty. Yeah, like tasty, like moose
But
tracks.
what if it's plant-based ice cream?
Yo soy vagina?
Well, it's the sugar. It's not the dairy that's the problem. I mean, the dairy is also not great, but it's the sugar specifically that's the problem.
They would melt, right? Or would they
Yes.
stay moose tracks if they're frozen for a long period of time?
No, they would melt.
Okay, so there's only one acceptable time to add ice cream to your sex play.
Okay, what is that?
Sunday.
Wow. Okay.
Ice cream Sunday. Paige has left the building.
Yeah, Paige got up and walked away from the microphone. She is gone.
Ice cream Sunday, Paige.
I hate you. Any way you slice it, she's got some nut up in her.
Peanut, but yeah.
It's a legume. Anyway, go back to this. We're almost done, actually. We're pretty far into the movie. They go hiking, and then she asks his brother about his childhood, and they decide to go shopping after going hiking, where she and the girls buy fancy dresses for going out that night. But she also sees Gia, the architect, and Elliot.
Yeah, like out the window. And they're clearly like friendly, which I mean, I guess if you had once had a sexual relationship, but you were still friends with somebody, they don't do anything that's like overly sexual. Like I think she kisses him on the cheek and he sort of like half hugs her and then they walk away.
I feel like there was a thing in the book that I don't think makes it into the movie where it was something about like she designed the ring or something like that, where it was completely innocuous.
Yeah, I got that vibe here that she was involved with it because he does mention, I got some help from an old friend picking out that ring. And I just figured
Yes,
that
yeah.
was her, right?
I feel like that's a bad decision.
I think that's a terrible decision. Yeah, hey, this lady I once had sex with helped me pick out your ring, babe. Isn't that cool? No.
This sounds terrible. Designing it makes more sense to me because maybe she like CAD modeled it or something. Anyway.
Well, she was so mad. She was like, we're
Yeah.
canceling the foursome on Sunday. I'm going to call Ben and Jerry, and they're not invited.
You get it, Paige?
Paige.
They're making jokes about their brother's relationship because they had Ben
I
and
do
Jerry's
love it.
sex.
Let's write their movie.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Like stay up one night drinking with them. They're like, yeah, we added ice cream to our sex. And you would just be like, oh, cool. And then they like go to bed and they're like, what?
No, Mikey, when they had that sex scene, the ice cream sex scene, they're in the kitchen of the house they're staying in with them. Like, it's very possible they could have
Yeah.
seen what happened.
You see her upstairs being like, that's my pint of moose tracks.
I told them to use the mint chocolate chip. The moose tracks were mine.
It would have been Minter Wonderland. That's what it would have been. That's a Ben and Jerry's flavor right
Why
now.
do these moose tracks smell like fish?
I love that they put him back in after they came out of her.
Yeah.
You know they did.
Yeah.
Because they are terrible people.
Yeah. I did want it to smash cut from them fucking on that table to everyone then eating around the table like breakfast or whatever. Like that would have been a
too.
hilarious smash cut, but
It smells like sex in here.
We're just making ice cream sundaes. Like, can you pass the cream for the ice cream sundaes?
that would have been hilarious, Paige.
Why is there a butt mark on the table?
It just cuts to me sitting at the table trying to eat my midnight snack. Like, do I say I'm up or do I?
Like you've been there the whole time.
With my other pint, I'd be like, oh my God.
Oh no, I was gonna try that ice cream too.
If I'm eating the vanilla, they're gotta be using the moose tracks. What if moose tracks get in her vagina?
Like 3 moose tracks end up on it.
You just like stand up, walk over there and be like, I think the Surgeon General needs me to step in at this point. Do not insert moose tracks, okay?
I'm not a gynecologist, but I've done a lot of research, and I'm pretty sure.
I'm not a gynecologist, but I am a fan. So like, listen.
Yeah.
I'd just be like, hey guys, can you stop? You're giving me an ice cream headache.
I'm just gonna picture that Anastasia's got moose tracks stuck up in her for the rest of the movie.
That's how you get your baby to be a girl. It's an old wives' tale. It's an allegory, Paige.
Oh no, fuck you.
It's an allegory.
No, it's not. Do you know what that word even means?
I think she's yelling at me.
I take back my comments earlier that were nice.
I was in the cover story of The Scene this week, Todd.
I know. You sent it to us. It was awesome.
And yet our podcast will never get voted even in the listing of #1 Nashville podcasts.
Do they even know we exist?
I don't know. But how do they know the other ones exist if they have like 1/3 of the viewership?
No, they fully apply for it, Mikey.
Yeah. It's like the Webbies or some shit.
Yeah, it's like the Webbies.
Where you pay $500 to win an award.
And you know what? I saw a real Webby, and it's plastic.
Of course it is.
Todd, we have to get one. I can't let that person that I know win this stuff with like 1/10 of our viewership and then post about it on her social media. This is a personal vendetta.
This is like when President Bartlett in season 4 of The West Wing was really upset that he might lose New Hampshire when winning the presidency. You're worried about shit that does not matter just because it's local to you.
Look, Grandpa, I don't get your references from 1994. I need to win now. I don't care about what happened on that episode of Frasier, okay?
The West Wing was way after Frasier, bro.
Mikey, we know that you don't care about tossed salads and scrambled eggs because you vanilla as fuck.
Right?
Let's talk 50 Shades.
I don't want anybody out there to think I don't love scrambled eggs.
Anyway, so shopping montage, because this is basically a 365 movie.
It is, yeah.
Would you be all sweaty after hiking?
Yeah, so they're trying on those clothes, and the clothes they didn't buy are just covered in their sweat.
Yeah.
100%.
Because she had moose tracks all up in her last night, and then they were following moose tracks on that hike the next day.
That's what I was going to say. The couple would have been like, I think I see some moose tracks.
Winky, winky.
Just at the back of the hiking party, just like, can you believe it? How is she walking?
I do sort of love the thought that like they just fell out of her, and then as they were walking back to the car or whatever, they're like, oh no, there's moose tracks here.
It's just like Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah, exactly like that.
Anyway, they go out that night, and the younger sister, Rita Ora, brings it up. She's like, did I see Gia in town today? Are her boobs real? Could they even be real? And I don't remember her boobs being that impressive, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, they bring them up more than once in 2 different scenes. They talk about her boobs, and I didn't notice them anytime she was on screen.
Yeah, same. But this is where Elliot asks Kate to marry him, and she has no questions and says yes.
Probably because in our movie, they've already talked about all this. Like, hey, I really feel like we're really getting closer and going to where I would want to marry you. Are you feeling the same? And they had this conversation before.
Yeah.
Yeah, she talked to him about Gia already, so we already know.
Exactly.
So Christian and Anna get home. They go to the playroom, and they do some butt stuff, which is a huge thing in the book where like they like talk it out, and it's like a whole thing.
I mean, I guess I don't talk it out in the movie, but they imply a lot of stuff in the movie.
Oh, it happens in the book, and it becomes like, you know, a fun regular feature of things. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, they just open it up and they take that peppermint ice cream and they just pour it all in there.
Why peppermint? Is that because Christmas Mikey is in full effect already?
Christmas Mikey's in full effect.
It's Christmas.
Ooh, let me dump all my peppermint ice cream inside you, lady.
Boofing Christmas is so fine. It's ours this time.
Were you singing Boofing Christmas?
Yes, I was. Thank you.
I love you guys so much.
It's been a wonderful 54th birthday so far.
They should have used sherbet. Would sherbet be a safer choice?
It is a palate cleanser, so maybe.
No, I think it should have been a rocket pop for the shape.
I mean, that's probably closer than a pint of ice cream.
Okay,
Right?
okay. Just think about the scene, but instead of like a pint of ice cream, he pulls out like a Ninja Turtle pop with the two bubblegum spots, and he just starts rubbing it over her body.
I'm into it.
And then just like takes it down below, and then we cut to her face's reaction of like,
Oh, Donatello! All the good ones end in O.
Anyway, we cut back to her office where she's thinking fondly about that rocket pop or Ninja Turtle pop that was up her butt earlier that day.
She definitely is daydreaming about butt play, though, and that to me is
Yeah.
funny.
While she's just like stirring her tea.
I know.
like-
She's like telling her tea all the secrets about that back door. Like, it's so funny to me
Yep.
that she would be daydreaming about that at work.
I mean, hey, when you get got, you get got.
Yeah, you do.
So the police detective shows up at work and is like, hey, that guy that tried to attack you said that you were sleeping together. So like, what do you have to say about that? She's like, I wasn't. Like, what? What are you talking about? And he's like, okay, but the court's probably going to believe him. Bye.
I do like that she's like, well, what do you believe? And he goes, I mean, I believe you, and I think he'll say anything he can to get out of the trouble he's in.
Right.
But like the court is deciding on bail and they might think differently, right? So like,
there's no facts.
Right.
Air quotes, facts. Yeah.
which is complete bullshit. Like he had a knife. There are two
Yes.
witnesses. Like this is complete bullshit. Like this is all fabricated to create extra drama when he gets out on bail. But there were 3 people that witnessed him in the house try to kill her.
Yeah.
So like he would be in jail forever.
But well, no, he'd probably make bail, but he'd probably make bail like that day. Like literally, I deal with people who are out on bail for like murder charges now.
That's
yeah.
crazy. So like if you're out for
No,
wow.
that's-
Okay. All right.
Yeah, because they would have to remand him without bail because they thought he'd be a danger, and she would have to get an order of protection.
Right.
And if he violated that order of protection, he would probably go back to jail, but they're very hard to enforce.
Wow. Okay.
Probably got aggravated assault with a weapon.
Deadly
and
weapon, yeah.
Breaking and entering.
Yeah.
So he probably got out on like 50 grand bond. So he probably only had to pay 5,000.
It's $500,000 for bail because they say it in the
They
movie.
do.
Oh, I
yeah.
saw that. But I mean, I think he would have got out for much less in like
Yeah.
reality. Mhm.
Well, and it could have been attempted murder.
That's true. If you got that charge.
I think they actually do say it is attempted murder.
Yeah.
I honestly can't remember fully, but we do get the scene where she goes to see his bail hearing.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we
yeah.
do see that, and the judge may say the charge, but I can't remember it. But it is a $500,000 bail that they set.
Yeah, well, and the judge doesn't believe him, but still sets bail.
Yes. Well, 500,000's a lot.
Yeah. And I guess they've determined he's not a flight risk or whatever. Because usually if you get remanded without bail, it's because you're a flight risk.
Yeah, they think you're
You
going to.
only have to pay 10% of the bail to get out.
Yeah.
Well, that's if you work with a bail bondsman and you don't get it back. If you actually have the money for your bail, you can post your bail, and then when you show up in court, you get all that money back.
Yeah.
That's why bail bondsmen make so much money, because they
Yeah, because nobody has that kind of money.
right. Bail is actually a really shitty industry we should get rid of, but whatever.
It is. There were some there have been some things on ballots over the last couple years to get rid of the cash bail system.
Yeah.
And there have been some interesting things people have tried other places that I'm kind of curious to see how they pan out. But yes, the
Yeah.
bail system is a huge scam.
It at least needs to be hella reformed.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, she goes and throws up in the bathroom of the courthouse.
I immediately said, oh my God, she's pregnant.
She's pregnant. So she goes to the doctor, and the doctor's like,
You're pregnant.
Your server room has been bombed.
you've got a moose track growing inside of you. Your moose track has a heartbeat. Anyway, so she comes home, and Christian's like, how was your day? And she's like, well, the police came to tell me that Jack said that I was boning him and that's why he broke into our apartment, which is still not an excuse to break into an apartment, but whatever. And then he's like, what the fuck? Why would anyone believe that? And she just goes, I'm pregnant. And he's like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah, I mean, she does like bring it up in a sort of shitty way, but she did have a crazy day. Like she went to work, she went to a bond hearing,
Right.
found out she was pregnant, and now she's being questioned by her husband. Like she's had a rough day. I get that.
right.
It's no Sunday.
But like the way he responds is insane to me.
I mean, it's indicative of someone who has had multiple conversations about not wanting children and feels like they were
Tricked.
that maybe tricked or their contraception was compromised, which is very serious and not great. So I understand him being angry. What he does next is a bad idea.
Yeah.
Because he leaves the house and gets drunk and then comes home. And she finds out that he was out getting drunk with the woman who sexually assaulted him as a child because they've been old friends from the last movie. And this
Yeah.
was like, I remember this happening in the book, and it's a much bigger deal for getting rid of it or whatever. This movie just glosses right over it. It's just like, that's fucked up anyway.
It is hella fucked up. Like the fact that he's friends with his abuser is nuts.
Yeah, it's wild. But I do like her conversation of like, you're married to me, so if you need to talk shit out, you should be talking it out with me.
Yeah.
We should be communicating. And I'm just like, that's correct. But also the fact that he still talks to his abuser is still super
Yeah.
fucked up.
It's
Like,
messed up, man. I do not like it. Yeah.
yeah, don't like it. And she basically is just like, I'm having this baby with or without you. Deuces.
Yeah. And he's like, should have made her sign a prenup.
We cut to her at work, and Christian is called, but she hasn't answered it. She answers a call from Kate, and Kate is like, well, okay, let's talk later. And she's like, okay. And she's clearly like upset. But then she gets a call from Mia, and it turns out it's not Mia, it's Jack with Mia's phone because he has kidnapped her.
Right.
And he does this whole like, I want my life back. I could have been him. They should have picked me. And she's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And he's like, I want $5 million by 1 p.m. And she's like, that's in 2 hours, which by the way, impossible.
Yeah. There's no way.
Impossible.
No
Banks
way you could do that.
not have that much liquid cash.
No.
On hand.
Nothing is impossible.
I mean, you could probably pull all of your banks together in your city and pull together that much cash. But like, even in their vaults,
Yeah.
they're not stacking $5 million in cash in there.
No, I mean, this is not the Swiss bank. Like, no.
there's
like,
no
this
way.
is- yeah. Anyway, so she clears her calendar. She goes to the apartment. She ditches her security by calling him and telling him that she's in one room of the house. And when he goes to check, she runs out of the house.
I did think that was funny because she's like, hey, can you help me in the library? So he goes upstairs and then she loudly runs out. So he hears her.
Yes.
And he runs down and she's in the elevator leaving as he sees her. And he's like, no. I thought that was very
No!
funny.
And he follows her to the bank. She doesn't lose him or
Yeah.
whatever. But so she goes to try and withdraw $5 million. And of course, the bank is immediately like, yeah, we're going to call your rich husband.
Yeah.
Hang on just a second.
Oh, you want $5 million? Let me just call your husband about it real quick.
Yeah. So they call Christian and he's like, what's going on? Are you leaving me? Like, what's happening?
Which I think is a fair question because she has access to
I
all
think
of
it
his
is.
money. Yeah.
But I also do, he's got way more than 5 million. So it's not.
No,
that-
yeah.
But I do respect that in this moment, he has this feeling of like, something is wrong. She needs this money. She can have it. And then I'll figure it out later. But like, give her whatever she wants. Just
Yeah.
like whatever she needs.
There
Yeah.
has to be some reason for this, and it's not all of my money, so fuck it.
Yeah, Taylor, track her phone. Let's go after her.
And they do, yeah. And I really like that she takes the bank manager's phone and then gives that to them.
Yes, because she knows he's tracking her phone because this is toxic and terrifying. But yes.
She's like, you don't know how toxic my boyfriend is. Let me just stash my cell phone with the cash and borrow the manager's cell phone and say that's mine to them.
But here, okay, I'm going to play brief devil's advocate here.
Okay.
Much like I did in the first film when he had a file on her, where I was like, hey, if you're that rich, you definitely do background checks on people.
Yeah, absolutely.
In this movie, if you're that rich, if you're married to a guy that's that rich, you are absolutely a kidnapping risk. Everyone should have their phones tracked in that case. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely. And your phone probably contains sensitive information. Like, I know he's tracking her for his own toxic reasons, and that is a problem and fucked up. But the reality of being a person of that level of means and that level of notoriety and public visibility, her phone would be tracked and should be tracked.
Yeah.
Honestly. Yeah. Because people are going to try and kidnap her a lot. If this book series continued, she would have been kidnapped a lot, I think.
They try in every movie pretty much.
They try it every time.
I do think that her security team would be tracking her phone all the time too. Like it wouldn't
100%.
just be, Christian Gray's phone that tracked it. Like, the Find My Friends app or whatever. It wouldn't be that.
Yeah.
It would be literally like
Yeah.
a security track on their phone.
Yes. So they hop in, they're tracking her phone, trying to follow her. And as that's happening, he also gets information that Jack is out on bail and that the woman that's been working in Anastasia's office was blackmailed by Jack, that she used to be his assistant. They slept together. He filmed it and he's using it as blackmail. And that's why she's doing this, which is fucked up.
Which is terrible. But I don't think if someone was like, hey, if you don't help me kidnap and murder somebody, I'm going to release your sex tape. I'd be like, I guess just release it because I'm not going to help you kill somebody or even kidnap somebody.
I'd release it for way less. You couldn't get me to do anything.
All press is good press, baby.
If you're out there thinking about trying to blackmail me, good luck. It's fine.
If you don't think I turn it on when the camera's on, you are wrong, my friend. You are getting a stellar performance out of me with the camera on. You know what I'm saying?
If you want 20 minutes of me complaining about a cramp and that I didn't hydrate well enough today, go for it.
If you want to see me violate a couple pints of moose tracks, let's do this shit. So she gets there with the money. And of course, it's not about the money. He's also luring her there to try and kill her or, beat her up. And he kicks her in the stomach. So you're just immediately like, oh, the baby.
Oh my God, did he kick the baby out of her?
No, the baby's fine. The only thing that happened was a couple of moose tracks popped out.
Are those little turds? No.
They're mini peanut butter cups of moose tracks.
But Christian and the police show up immediately. She shoots Jack in the leg and they take him away to prison. She ends up in the hospital.
I do love that she actually shot him. It wasn't like she just had the gun there for a threat. Like she actually shot him. I was like, hell yeah.
Hell yeah, bitch.
She needed to. He was in the last stages of the Ebola virus. His eyes were bleeding at that point, and he was in agony.
Oh, God. Anyway, we cut to her in the hospital. She's fading in and out of consciousness, and the doctors are like, we might have to operate.
On what?
I don't know.
We might have to operate. She has got a huge infection. There are moose tracks everywhere.
Full of moose tracks.
Yeah.
That's actually why she had to go to the hospital, not because she got kicked lightly in the stomach.
Yeah, they're like, no, the kicking, she's going to bruise, but like it's this moose track situation's out of control.
Yeah, ma'am, you have an aggressive yeast infection.
She wakes up in the hospital with perfectly curled hair, which I found hilarious. But also she's like, the baby. And they're like, the baby is fine. But we retrieved 3 pounds of moose tracks out of your vaginal canal.
They were delicious. It's just like when I hold my Reese's Pieces in my hand because it warms up the
And they
Reese's
melt
Pieces.
a little bit?
Yeah. Like that has to be why she puts them there. They're going to the theater the next day and she wants to smuggle them in.
Yeah, she wants to put them in on popcorn.
Exactly.
Yeah, the theater's always checking bags.
Oh, gross.
That's why skirts are awesome.
So if you out there put moose tracks in your vagina to sneak them into movie theaters to eat them with popcorn, let us know. I'd like to know.
I don't.
I don't want to know.
Dude, no one does that. That's too specific.
Yeah. Anyway, so Christian, now that she's awake and we know that the baby's okay, he's like, I want to have this baby with you. I couldn't lose you. I'd be worried. And she's like,
Yeah, it took you being literally kidnapped and almost murdered for me to be like, you know what?
baby seemed fine.
Maybe I'm sorry.
Maybe I can hire a nanny. Like, I thought it was insane that this person who's richer than fucking anybody I've ever met ever in my life was like, oh, they're going to take too much of your time away from me. No, they're not.
Yeah, also, if your significant other starts getting jealous of your child, you have an issue with your significant
Oh,
other. That is
yes,
huge.
absolutely.
I forgot to mention that while we were talking about it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You should probably reevaluate what's happening at that point.
Yeah.
Well, and this is where they decide to just like sprinkle into the end of this movie, like, I know you've harbored resentment against your mother. And I'm like, oh, we haven't talked about this since the last movie, but
Did
like,
we
I guess
know
it's
that?
here now.
I don't think we did. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Anyway, she's like, you just have to forgive her. And they're like, okay. So we cut to him failing to cook in their apartment. And I don't even know what he was trying to cook. It looks like hot Cheetos in a pan.
I mean, it did not look edible, which thank God they don't eat it. But yeah.
Yeah. But they have a new envelope of information on Hyde. And it turns out that Hyde was in the same foster home as Christian. And Christian got adopted out and Hyde didn't.
Right.
But also they found Christian's birth mother's grave. So they go to visit it and put flowers there.
I thought it was weird that he hired a rain system to like set up so he could like experience what it would be like to go to your parents' grave when it rained outside.
Yeah, so he could be Batman.
Yeah.
But he does have a really interesting thing of like, for the grace of God, there go I. Basically, like, if I had not been adopted, would I be him? Which no, not necessarily, because everyone gets to make choices.
Probably not to that level, but I do think he would have gotten to around the level that Hyde got to, where Hyde was sort of successful. He was a book editor. He was doing fine, and then he lost his mind because Anna's so hot, ? Like, I don't remember why he went crazy.
No,
but
because well, the second movie doesn't talk about it. They kind of are wrapping it all up in this one, but like, he goes crazy because he realizes that Christian was the kid he went to foster care with and got adopted, and Christian's a billionaire, and he's not.
Okay.
It's all about Christian, not Anna.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, they go to the grave. We get a montage. We get like one scene of her in the playroom. The door closes, and then the credits roll.
This is when I stopped watching because I thought it was over.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, if there are things in the credits, I missed it.
Okay. So I knew that there was an epilogue in the book. So I was like, oh my God, are they not doing the epilogue? And by the time I like thought, it started in the credits.
Okay, yeah. I completely missed all this, so tell me.
So the epilogue in the movie is that they're sitting on the lawn outside that house and they have a son and then she's pregnant with another baby.
Okay.
In the book, that happens. Son, pregnant with another baby. The second baby's going to be a girl. And
Paige, I think it's pronounced a grayby.
A grayby?
He's going to have a grayby.
A Christian grayby. And in the second book, it ends with them in the playroom with her still pregnant. The implication being that they have played the entire time and the children did not change their sex life. And that's the movie. And the book.
So having seen the movie, having talked about the movie, what did you guys think about 50 Shades Freed?
This is both the best and the worst one of the trilogy.
I do think this is the most bonkers. Like, things come out of left field, in this one, that is unlike any other 50 Shades movie, but is very like the first 365 movie.
No, it's not good like that.
Watching this made me appreciate 365 more, because I was like, at least 365 is fucking nuts.
It is, yeah. I do feel like 365 is more watchable than this.
Especially the second one. The second one is fucking crazy.
I can't wait till Mikey makes us watch that next week.
We're not doing that next week.
Damn
This
it.
is Christmas now.
I thought 365 too was a Christmas movie. My mistake. I'm sorry.
You're wrong.
Not. It's a love triangle movie with Massimo and Nacho.
Okay.
Nacho's hot as hell.
Nachos are delicious. Yeah.
I did not enjoy this trilogy. I do enjoy talking about it with y'all.
Yes.
I think the first movie was probably the best one of the three objectively.
The first one's boring. I don't know if you remember, but it's the longest.
They're all kind of boring.
They are, but the first one is the longest. It's a full 2 hours long.
And there's the least amount of sex too. And no pommel horse. No, the first one's not the best movie.
Pommel Horse is the first one.
No, it's the second one.
Pommel Horse is the second one. The first one does have a lot of sex in it, a fair amount, but it plods. Like, the story was so boring. And then the second one is where the crime elements get introduced.
Yeah, the crime drama stuff. Yeah.
And the second one is bonkers bad as well.
Yeah.
But it's not quite as crazy as this one.
I hate it.
I didn't hate the movies. I'm glad I'll probably never have to watch them again. Although if someone asked to watch them, I would watch them with them. That's fine. Like, they're not terrible movies. They're just like softcore porn is all that this is, really.
No, 365 is. Well, no, 365 is just regular porn, but it's also crazy. And that's why it's so much more fun. Because
it is so much more fun. Yeah.
It's wild.
I'm honestly a little sad we're not going to have another one of this to do next year, though.
Well, I mean, we have more 365s to do, and we have Twilights to catch up on.
So, Paige, do you have any fun facts for us?
Some.
Birthday bitch.
Wow, Mikey. So here it is with your fun facts.
I'm
Birthday,
27
ya
fun
bitch.
facts.
Birthday bitch, fun facts.
All right, so this is going to be a little different from fun facts because there's not a ton of fun facts for this movie. So I'm going to do the fun facts I have, but then I'm going to introduce one of my favorite internet conspiracies about Dakota Johnson.
Okay.
So
I love all of this.
they filmed this on location in Nice, France, at the same time that the Nice terror attacks took place. And I'm not saying that one of those things is related to the other, but someone should be asking these questions.
Is Dakota Johnson a terrorist?
Well, we'll get to our conspiracy
Wow,
theory.
okay.
So some of the filming in this movie was done at Sarah McLachlan's home.
Oh, really?
It doesn't look like it was shot through the eyes of an angel. I'll be here all day.
So the cover of this movie is the exact opposite of the first. So
Yes, it
in
is.
the first movie, Anna's arms are up, and it's supposed to be like a flipping of the power dynamic, whatever.
Well, that's what he says at the bottom. You're topping from the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, but I'm here for it, I guess. And then that's
But
the
I'm
end
here
of that
for it,
movie.
I guess. This is the only film in the franchise to not get nominated for the Worst Picture Razzie Award. However, it did receive other Razzie Award nominations that year.
Okay.
So the University of British Columbia in Vancouver is a lot of the locations in this movie, including the hospital where she wakes up. That's actually their pharmaceutical sciences building. This is something I noticed but couldn't remember because it was like such a small detail. But in the book, Kate has a brother named Ethan. So Kate is the one dating Elliot. She has a brother named Ethan who ends up dating Mia, who is Rita Ora, Christian's sister. They did not include him in either of the previous two movies, so they couldn't just drop him into this movie. So instead, in the scene where they're in Aspen, it's the only scene where you see this. They've merged his character with Anna's friend Jose, the one that tries to kiss her in the first movie.
Oh, yeah.
And so he's in Aspen with them, apparently sleeping with Mia. But they don't address it really at all in the movie, I guess. So anyway.
But that guy got to work on this film for a day, so good for him.
I guess good for him. They also cut out a huge amount of Kim Basinger scenes from this movie. And to date, that's still like one of the last things she's filmed. She hasn't filmed anything since. So,
oh, wow.
Whatever.
Okay. I guess playing a pedophile was too much for her.
I guess. The book Christian's reading while he and Anna are on the beach is called The Hawk and the Sea by Peter Bodnaris. Currently, there's no such book in print, but Peter Bodnaris is a well-known Hollywood art director, not a novelist.
Okay.
So it's implied that this was something that like they did as a nod in art direction, and the book is actually also a title that can be seen in the last movie. During the board meeting where Anna gets her temporary promotion, it's one of the other titles being considered. The implication being that she probably also got that book published and Christian read it.
Okay.
So
I sort of like that, though.
yeah, so that's the extent of our normal fun facts.
Ooh.
Let's delve into the realm of mystery.
Okay.
In 2021, on Twitter, user @BizSocks started a thread. It goes like this. True story. Dakota Johnson once locked me and my mom inside a Blue Bottle coffee shop because the barista told her she couldn't make the coffee herself. She then continues. She closed the door on all of us who were still inside, pulled a rope out of her bag, tied the door shut, and walked away. We had to have a passerby untie the rope so we could get out.
What?
Now, if you are unfamiliar with Dakota Johnson's shenanigans online, she's known to be a little quirky. But even this seems odd, right?
Yes.
That's a lot. It's more than just her talking about limes in a weird video, which if you have not seen her talk about limes, pretty fun.
I have not.
I haven't either.
Okay, let me fill you in on the lime story. So she did like a tour of her house. I don't know if it was on TikTok or Reels or whatever, but somebody had clearly staged the house and they staged like a bowl of limes there. And she was like, these are my limes. I just love having them out and displayed like this. They're beautiful. I love limes. Then there's a follow-up video for a few weeks later of like, I don't even know why the limes were there. They just put them there. I'm actually allergic to limes. I don't know why there were limes there. But it's just like the videos side by side. She's a little kooky.
Oh my God. There's a 10-minute and 57-second video on YouTube that is just called Dakota Johnson clears up her controversial lime stance.
Anyway, we're not here to talk about the limes today. We're here to talk about the imprisonment of the Blue Bottle coffee people. Now, Vulture Online decided to do some investigative reporting because the Twitter thread has like a picture of her closing the door, but there's no rope necessarily seen. So Vulture investigated and they found a photo shoot from Vogue where she's wearing the same outfit, and it appears to be around the same time. And the building where that Blue Bottle Coffee is, there is also a Milk Studios where they film a lot of Vogue's content. So they interviewed some of the people who worked at Blue Bottle Coffee at the time who claimed to have been there that day, as well as a couple other customers. Dakota Johnson she did not comment, neither did Vogue. But what they think happened, here's what they have surmised potentially happened. Vogue was shooting like a kind of behind the scenes kind of weird, you know how sometimes companies will do content where they you're going to run the office today, and it's kind of like a weird jokey thing or whatever, and it's dumb, but it showcases all the clothes they're wearing in the thing. Anyway, so they believe what happened is that Vogue told her being Dakota Johnson,
Right.
that they were going to go downstairs to the coffee shop and film scenes of her acting like an entitled supermodel, because part of the article and stuff that she was shooting for was about her making the jump from acting to modeling and becoming kind of this bigger star. So
Okay.
she goes downstairs and they do it. And the problem is that Vogue or Milk Studios didn't clear this with the coffee company. And so the coffee company is just you can't come behind the counter. You can't do this or whatever. And then she's like, fine, but she keeps doing what the video is supposed to be and ties the rope to lock everybody in, and they shoot it. And then another production assistant unties it. But for the people who were there in the coffee company just getting coffee, they didn't see the cameras, or at least didn't know that that's what the cameras were there for, or thought they were just paparazzi or whatever. So all they saw was Dakota Johnson come downstairs, be like, let me make the latte. And then being like, no. And she's like, fine. And then locks them into the coffee shop. And that's how this weird Twitter thread was born. And those are your fun facts.
That's amazing. I mean, why else would she have rope in her purse? That would be wild to just pocket rope in your purse.
Rope's actually pretty useful to carry around with you.
It is.
That's why I bring my bolt cutters everywhere with me.
Also another useful item.
Yeah. There's a couple other interviews from people that said that she was a total bitch that day, but then a bunch of other people are she's nice, she's just weird. And so it really lends credence to this idea that she was I'm playing a role. And then Vogue was just go with it. Do it.
I love that for her.
But those are your fun facts.
Well, thank you for your fun facts, but let's talk a little bit about box office. So what do you think the production budget for 50 Shades Freed was in 2018?
Well, considering that they shot on location in a bunch of places, and that's expensive, I'm going to say this was 80 mil.
Okay. Mikey, what do you think it was?
60.
Mikey, you're closer. Oh,
I was going to say 50.
well, you're literally on either side of it by exactly the same amount. It was $55 million to make this movie.
Oh.
And if you adjust for inflation from 2018 till right now, that's $65.2 million today. But it's close. It's in the same ballpark as $55 million. This movie came out on February 9th, 2018. It was number 1 in the theater when it came out. It beat the number 2 movie, Peter Rabbit, number 3, The 5:17 to Paris, number 4, Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, and number 5, The Greatest Showman. How much do you think 50 Shades Freed made in its opening weekend?
Welcome to the jungle. We got Jumanji. I'm going to say opening weekend, it made 60.
Okay.
I'm going to say 26.
Mikey, you're closer. It made $38.5 million in its opening weekend. It was in the theaters for a total of 8 weeks, though. So what do you think it made in its domestic box office run?
I'm going to say 120.
Okay. Mikey, what do you think?
Probably 135.
All right.
I do know that this was the underperformer. This one did the worst of the 3, I think.
I think you're
I
right,
think they got progressively worse.
but
Yeah.
it still made $100.4 million in the domestic market. So it made plenty of money, right?
Yeah, plenty.
It also made $271.5 million internationally. So it made plenty of money. That's $371 million, almost $372 million worldwide. And it's made also $32.6 million in the home market performance.
That could buy you 1 million pints of moose tracks.
This movie did
So many.
just fine. As far as Worldwide box office, though, Paige, you are correct. This movie did the worst. 50 Shades of Grey worldwide did $570 million. 50 Shades Darker did $381, and 50 Shades Freed, as I just mentioned, did $371 million.
Still good return on investment.
Oh, yeah,
for sure.
absolutely it is. Yeah, they probably spent $150 million producing the 3 movies, and they made over $1 billion. So, yeah, they did great.
Yeah.
But that is your box office. Mikey, do you want to hit us with that romance scale?
Yeah, the romance scale is how romantic we found the film today. It's a scale of 1 to 10. Paige.
I'm going to give all of the movie a 1, except for the hair washing scene, and I'm going to give that a 5.
Todd.
I do think the hair washing scene is more romantic. That puts it at a 1 for me, though.
Yeah. I also give it a 1 because while hair washing is cute, he's an animal and I hate him.
Yeah, he's a terrible person throughout the entire trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's our romance scale.
So this week, Paige, as per tradition, made us watch 50 Shades Freed. Mikey, what thoughtful next movie are you going to make us watch?
Well, friends, welcome to Christmas.
Yay!
We shall start the season.
Okay.
Yes.
I love that the season starts before Thanksgiving. Like, you're getting into...
Shut your dirty mouth!
Shut your hole, Todd!
Christmas Mikey shows up before Mariah Carey does.
I show up November 1st, ready to party.
Just like Mariah did this year.
Yep.
Yeah. Thanksgiving is one day with one meal. It's not a thankful season. It's got no songs. It's got no cool things. It's like, ooh, orange candle. Get the fuck out of here. It's Christmas time. We're ready. You might as well just wrap Thanksgiving in as like a pre-Christmas meal.
So, Mikey, you were saying about your pick?
Yeah, we're going to do Falling for Christmas.
Okay.
Lindsay Lohan's new Netflix Christmas movie.
With Cord Overstreet? Yes! I'm so excited.
It's actually gotten decent reviews.
I know everyone's saying it's good, and I can't imagine that's true. I'm so excited.
Paige, let me read you the synopsis.
Please.
Before you shit all over it, okay? Because it sounds amazing.
Hit me with it.
In the days leading up to Christmas, a young and newly engaged heiress experiences a skiing accident. After being diagnosed with amnesia, she finds herself in the care of a handsome lodge owner and his daughter.
It's Christmas Overboard!
Yes, it is!
I'm so excited.
But that's actually a misnomer because you can never go overboard.
On Christmas.
That's right.
Well, your homework for next week is to watch Lindsay Lohan's new Netflix Christmas movie and then check back for that episode. So, Mikey, do you have a review for us to read?
I'm pulling it up or whatever.
All right, well, while you're pulling it up or whatever, let me tell them how they can have their review read on the podcast, and that is to leave us a 5-star text review, and we'll have Mikey look it up or whatever and then read it to you. So, Mikey, whose review were you going to do this week?
I need some reviews, people.
Yeah, we've been sitting so close to 400 for a while.
All right, I'm going to read the sweet one.
Aww.
Okay, well, what does the sweet one have to say?
Such a fun show.
Oh, why, thank you,
Aw,
the sweet
thank
one.
you.
You are, in fact, sweet.
It's one sentence. They have one sentence review.
I love it.
I've got my wine ready for next week.
Oh,
5
Yay!
stars.
Shit, I love that review.
You're going to need it for Christmas Overboard.
Well, the sweet one, thank you so much for that awesome 5-star review. And if you want to have Mikey read your 5-star review, leave us a 5-star review. Get us to 400. Let's do this. So, yeah, guys, if you like this power throuple that we have here on this podcast, make sure to check out our other podcast, The Horror Virgin. And that is the only other podcast that Mikey and I are on. But Paige gets around, and she is on 2 other podcasts, Black Card Rehab and Cult Podcast. So guys, definitely check out those because they're amazing. If you want to follow us on social, we are at Romancing the Pod Show
Yes.
on Instagram, and we are at something else on Twitter who I just have never taken the time to learn it.
It's just Romancing Pod Show because they have a character limit and it's show SHO like Showtime.
So guys, check that out as well. And if you want to follow us all individually, Paige is at Rampage Wesley everywhere, including TikTok. Except for Twitter, where she is at Paige Wesley. Mikey is at mrandolph24, and I am at Todd J Awesome everywhere. And guys, we got a P.O. box. So if you want to send us some love letters or whatever you might send to a P.O. box, it's actually not a P.O. box. It's like a regular street address. It's pretty awesome. It's 6688 Nolensville Road, number 108-34, Brentwood, Tennessee 37027. So send us some stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be it for us, you guys. I'm Paige.
I'm Mikey.
And I'm Todd.
And you complete us.
To completion.
Laters, baby. Forever. It's our last one.
Oh,
It's our last
forever's
Laters,
baby. Oh.
Forever's baby.
Not our last podcast.
No, but it's our last 50 Shades.
Oh, don't be sad about this. Be happy.
Mikey, what's your pickup line for the tag?
Oh, I want to go moose tracks hunting.
Hey, lady, let me nibble on them moose tracks. Bye! Eating moose tracks out of vaginas, nerds.
Gross.
Don't like that at all.
Cutting recorded.
Perfect.
Na, 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 na.